So, hello my Gunrunners, welcome back to AYYKAYY Reacts. For the new people that this video has just shown up from nowhere, hello, I'm AYYKAYY, an ex-conscript of Iran, born and raised here, and my job in law enforcement usually consisted of working armories, working patrol duties, guard duties, and a lot of judicial stuff. For the channel subs, hey everyone, I am so sorry for the 1 month of me not posting anything. In the last video I said it might take 2 to 3 weeks at most, and here I am, exactly about a month later. There was just too many things happening. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I'm just gonna hit you with the headlines and move on, because I just don't want to bore you with it. I had to go through, I believe, something like 15 books in 2 weeks, which then got an extension to become 3 weeks. Had to do a test for each and every single one. Then I got laid off work. Yeah, it happens. Had to move back in with the family, just to hit the golden time for all the New Year stuff. On that note, Happy New Year! This video is currently being recorded on 20th on March, which is the Nowruz celebration. Nowruz also means new day, as we celebrate coming of spring. Also, this celebration is a 2 weeks thing, so for the next 2 weeks I'm gonna be free, as these 14 days are national holidays and everywhere is just closed down. So for the foreseeable future, I am free in my plans. Videos will continue as normal. For all the countries that officially celebrate Nowruz, most of them from Asia, almost all the Stan countries, Western China, Southern Russia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Albania. Of course, some of these are just communities that live in those countries that celebrate this national holiday of ours. Not unlike the Persis in India, which technically celebrated religiously, because it is of course part of their religion too, Zoroastrians, and every other Persian or Iranic community. To all the Persian countries, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, they also celebrated with us. Kurdish people do. It is also a big part of Kurdish identity. Happy Nowruz. Wish you all the best. But hey, it's time to get back to the video. This video came about 3 weeks ago. I really wanted to see it because of just the title. I really wanted to know what's their experience with cops, so I could maybe compare it to my own conscription, as I was a 911 responder. You know the deal. Just one thing we gotta do. You can see the title, Dealing with Cops, Campfire Stories, from our dual creator, mikeburnfire and Zack Hazard. As always, the links are going to be down in the description right below and in the top right corner right about now. Before we start, make sure to go over there, like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that, as they definitely deserve it. So without further ado, let's get started and start.
Louisiana, at least when I was living there, had really weird laws about open containers. For alcohol specifically.
While you're driving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in the car?
In general, because you know, like Bourbon Street's such a major part of New Orleans, and Bourbon Street are such a major part of Louisiana and like their culture. The open container laws kind of don't really exist as much.
They exist, but they're not enforced?
I don't know. I don't know specifically what they are, but basically, like in other cities,
right,
if you go outside the bar and you're carrying a beer, if you step outside the bar with that beer, you will get arrested.
Yeah, that's why you have the brown paper bag.
That is considered public intoxication. When I was in Louisiana, not so. Basically, you could just be walking down the street in New Orleans was really the only place I saw this, but you could be walking down the street drinking a beer, and nobody's going to stop you. Nobody cares.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, it was like that when I went to Boston. I was in Boston on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
So, like, there were just no, like, open container laws. People were just walking down the street drinking.
Did you see the Green River? The dump food
That's
coloring?
Chicago.
That's Chicago.
That Chicago does that. Yeah, Chicago fills the river with food coloring, and it definitely doesn't have any ecological impact.
Oh God,
whatsoever.
Why would it?
Why would it possibly?
Ever had any green
Why
trout?
would it possibly? When I was in Louisiana, there were drive-through bars.
Wow.
And you would get your drink in a styrofoam cup.
Yeah,
so they had, like, drive-through like
that's
that
kind of
where you're
disappointing.
frozen margarita places.
Okay.
And you would get a cup, like a styrofoam cup. But I swear to God, it was like the 1 liter big gulp.
Jeez.
For alcohol?
The laws on that were, because it's just a styrofoam cup with a plastic lid on it, right? It's just a white nondescript styrofoam cup.
So
The
it's
law
masking
was,
it?
if you have one of those in your vehicle, it's not an open container unless there's a straw in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah?
Because technically,
What, the straw
it is
pierces the
still just
whale?
an open container.
What do you
Fight over.
mean?
Quick, hide the straw!
Throw the straw out the window. Like he's not
No,
gonna
duct
smell the
tape over the hole.
strawberry daiquiri on your breath when he pulls up to the window. It just smells like either you were just eating a bunch of now and laters or you've been drinking that strawberry daiquiri I see right there.
Drunk driving or not. Oh my god.
Seat, and he reaches in and pulls out a straw.
Is this contraband? Yeah, so they were like weird open container
I
laws.
caught you
of
with
course,
the
none of those open
tools.
container laws apply to us on the military base because we're on the military base
Yeah,
and we have our own
they have
rules.
their own
That you
rules.
also ignore.
If you ignore those, you go to court-martialing. Like, you don't get charged with civilian offenses, at least in our experience. Like, anything concerning the military would be done by military, but anything between you and your normal everyday clothing and everyone around, that would be civil. You get what I mean. I don't need to go through it too much. I think you get what I mean, right? Let's get back to the video.
Yes, we would ignore them, but there were a lot of rules that were not enforced off the base, like the cell phone ban. You were not allowed to talk on a cell phone.
You were not allowed to carry a cell phone at any point. The only cell phones that were allowed were by some extension. I'm talking about this because on paper, every single one was illegal. Unless you were an officer. Officer meaning someone who was there for the job, not like us, a conscript. Officers would get a phone, but they were only allowed a phone that had no camera, cannot hold a memory card, and does not have an operating system. So no OS on the phone. Technically, it was for security reasons to make sure they would not be hacked. The best way to make sure you're not getting hacked is having something that is not hackable. And the only phones that were allowed by some extension to the conscripts were phones that followed those lines. Old Nokia phones were just like the perfect species of phones you could like look for, as they had a lot of battery, were very, very strong and resistant to everything, could be used as a melee weapon, no camera, no memory, and its only tools being communication. The only conscripts I would usually see that were allowed were either personal drivers, escorters like myself who would have had to escort accused personnel to judicial courts, see if they're guilty of a charge or something, and if needed, either freeing them or escorting them to prison. That was a lot of my job, actually. When I was doing that, I would usually call for a car, like one of our cop cars, to get me around, as I was like with this person going through all these places and coming back. And of course, it was a security measure, so if anything went wrong, I could actually call someone. But on the regular, you would genuinely be roasted if you were caught having a phone. Even if your superior officer reported it in, by the time the statement of you being caught with it was done and stamped, you would have been charged with 3 days of extra unpaid service and 1 day in the jail cell, meaning 24 hours you sit where the accused are being, like the holding cells. And if they don't have those, they would have to be transported back to HQ. So yeah, no phones. They were a big no-no. Let's keep going.
Ivan?
Yeah, like it had to be hands-free. Okay, so quick side tangent. While I was
I
at
just
Fort
went
Polk,
on one.
I'm sure this is still the case. They had a very hard rule of you are not allowed, if you are operating a vehicle, you are not allowed to talk on your cell phone, you're not allowed to text, you're not allowed to do anything with it. You can only use it on hands-free.
All right.
Like every single safety briefing that we had, it was always just like they would just really, don't drink, don't beat your spouse, don't talk on your cell phone while you're driving, don't get into accidents, don't kill yourself. That was like
normal
every single
things.
safety briefing. Every single one.
Honestly,
was just those points,
yeah.
And they would just hammer them home every single time.
Also STDs.
Yeah, also wrap your tool twice. I remember one of my squad leaders just straight up being like, guys, before this 3-day weekend, I know a lot of you single guys are going to be going out there. I just want you to remember that life is a sexually transmitted disease.
Yeah? That's deep, man.
Yeah, honestly.
God damn, okay.
Have to write that
I
with
was
gold
driving,
or something.
Somewhere at one point, I forget where I was. It doesn't matter where I was going to. I was driving. I stop at an intersection, and I'm just sitting there, and I look over, and I realize that the sergeant major is sitting next to me in her car, and she's just talking on her phone. And as I'm sitting at the light, I go meep, honk the horn, and she looks over at me, and I go like this.
You do the hand signal.
I do the hand signal for like you have your phone. And she just gave me the worst death stare I have ever seen in my entire life.
You're gonna try
and then the
to-
light turned green and she sped away.
You're gonna try and enforce my own rules against me?
Come to think of it, that might have been
Headbutting
why
with
she
officers.
moved me out of,
Always
out
fun.
of a company that was deploying into a company that wasn't deploying, and then I ended up getting stop lost.
Because you called her out?
Yeah, I think she held a grudge.
Ah.
Maybe.
Anyway, so yeah, the law was basically it's not an open container until you put a straw in. And I remember
So
coming back from a
stupid.
3-day weekend at one point, and one of my buddies was talking to me. He had left the base, and the joke was like you leave the base and you stop at the daiquiri, the drive-through daiquiri place, and get one, and then you drink that
On the way
where you're
out?
going.
Okay.
Get drunk and drive. Who cares? Don't actually do that.
You shouldn't, but it's kind
don't.
of surprising that
Honestly, as a ex-conscript, I have to just safety precautions. Just saying, wear your f***ing seatbelts. Like, there's no joke in this. Cool kids don't go through the window. That's a very bad thing. We in Iran have two different types of police, at least in this simple similarity that I'm going to use, in the anecdote I'm going to use. We have two types of police. The ones that reside in a police station, the ones that reside in a glorified parking lot. The ones that are residing on the station usually have to do with all matter of crimes. On the other hand, however, traffic police does not get to pull someone over for any other reason other than traffic, all right? Their jurisdiction is very redlined, very strict lines that they should not proceed on if they reach it, you know? Traffic police does not handle seriously injured people at all. If it's a traffic accident that even someone had a single drop of blood coming down their nose or something, then it was actually out of their jurisdiction and the police station had to take it. That was us. That was me as a 911 responder. I had to be on so many different traffic accidents, finding people in the worst positions you would possibly imagine, getting them on ambulances, staying there until the crane comes, flips the cars over on multiple occasions. Please drive safely. You have no idea how these traffic accidents can get lethal very, very fast. And how much do they actually happen? They're just so common. Please drive safely. Use Uber when you're drunk. Don't drive under the influence. And those of you that do, you might have saved some poor sod like me from seeing one too many traumatic experiences, alright? Keep safe, thank you. This PSA is over. Let's go back to the video. Just 5 seconds back and go.
Don't actually do that.
you shouldn't, but it's kind of surprising that was a ritual that you had.
I didn't have that ritual.
Not you specifically.
I didn't have that
Not
ritual.
you specifically.
He goes to the daiquiri place and he leaves. And everybody knows what you get from the daiquiri place. Everyone
It's
knows
the daiquiri
that
place,
it's a white
yeah.
styrofoam cup. And if you don't know that's what it is, you can see the bright pink drink coming out of the straw. Anyway, so he gets it, puts the straw in it, is driving, pulls up at a stoplight, drinking his
Drinking his mysterious drink out of
Drinking
the
his yeah
Mysterious
this stuff that he
liquid,
doesn't have,
yeah.
like, with Sharpie written on the top of it, STWBDQRI. Looks out the window as a cop
Strawberry
pulls up next to
daiquiri.
him, and everybody knows what this thing is.
Yeah.
Of course
The
they
cop
do.
looks at him, and he's just sitting there holding the drink.
And the cop raises his own and sips aggressively.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I ruin the actual punch?
No, that's actually what.
Oh shit, what?
Granted, this story could be 100% fake, but the way he told this story to me,
Oh god.
fear in his voice at describing the cop pulling up next to him.
Oh
sounded
no.
So genuine.
Oh no, that is fearful.
Fun story about drinking under the influence, which is a behavior that kills way too many people every year.
Yeah,
Don't do
yeah.
that. That's a
Please
bad
don't
idea.
do that. But
do that.
why?
Also,
Why was the
holy
cop?
Shit, that's hilarious. If this story is true, I can only imagine the absolute fear that he must have felt 20 minutes outside of base, seeing a cop. And like the cops know if your vehicle is from the
Yeah,
Army
of
base.
course they
Yeah,
know.
like a plate or a tag.
There's a tag that goes on the windshield, but usually if you have like an out-of-state plate,
Oh.
why the fuck are you in Leesville?
Tourism?
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted
You're here to see.
visit sunny Leesville.
You're
Honestly, yeah, every cop in the local area knows everybody. They have to go around those parts so much. They get acquainted with faces, those that do their runs, their daily schedules. They just see it, and their job is to like keep watch, to look out, and all of that. So they are very familiar with their surroundings. That's kind of their job, yes. So knowing some new face walking in doing weird stuff, yeah, they're gonna make you out. It's gonna be easy. You're gonna be standing out so much.
We're here to see scenic Leesville with a Walmart and a GameStop
Ha.
and the Do-A-Tree because the LL and the R on the Dollar Tree burned out. So
Oh,
it's
God.
Do-A-Tree now.
Do a
We're
tree.
here to see that and the giant crack house. That's exactly what you're here in Leesville to see. Nobody fucking goes to Leesville unless they're at Fort Polk.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, I can
Seen
only
too
imagine
many
the absolute
cities
fear
like
he felt
that.
in that moment of seeing the cop, watching him drink a frozen daiquiri, only for the cop to also raise up a frozen daiquiri and then drive away.
Bottoms up.
That was a great story. Got any more stories about DUIs?
No, not about. Well, okay, kind of.
So much.
I was about
I
to
have
say
so
I
much.
I knew a police
Most
officer
not
when I was
good.
at Fort.
I honestly have so many bad like stories about DUIs, not mine, of course. But again, so many accidents, so many different people who thought they could do it. They could pull it off. The logical thought process says just don't do it. That's the only way you could actually save yourself from an accident like this. DUIs are just so scary, man. They get lethal so fast. Let's keep going.
I knew a police officer when I was at Fort Polk. He really loved listening to NWA.
All right.
Basketball?
No,
The rap
group
with
NWA.
attitudes.
Yeah. I
The
can't
ice.
say the name of it because I'm white.
What's the WA stand for?
With attitude.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand why I can't say it?
I understand.
Okay, good.
Good,
Nebraskans
good.
with attitude.
Yeah, that's definitely what it fucking stands for, Mike. That's exactly
Of
what
course.
it stands for.
I got it.
He loved listening to NWA, and one of his favorite.
Oh god, I didn't even say it. Ice Cube's Fuck the Police is still one of my favorite ever rap songs. I used to listen to it when I was on the cop car, and no one cared, honestly. We played everything from classical, traditional music to hip hop and rap songs. So yeah, let's keep going.
Things to do was pull up next to someone at an intersection and just play "Fuck the Police" as loud as you possibly could in the police car stereo
Oh,
while
God.
he's sitting next to someone at a traffic light.
Oh god.
I don't want to say regularly, but I would generally end up being like the DD for people when I was at Fort Polk.
Okay.
I didn't really drink very much. I still don't really drink very often.
You needed to be sober when you visited Walmart and GameStop.
I guess.
Because there's so much to
So a
see.
lot, people would go out to the bars, and then a lot of the time they would just call me and be like, "Hey, can you come pick us up?" Or like they would leave me their keys before they left.
Oh,
They would
the
take a taxi
designated
out to wherever
driver.
the bar is, and then I would go pick them up in their vehicle.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time it would be like, I know you're going to be absolutely fucking hammered, and yes, I will come pick you up. I'm not picking you up in my vehicle.
Don't puke in
Someone
my
throws
vehicle.
up in your car once, and you learn that lesson
True.
real fast.
You know what?
That
Very,
happened to you?
very
Yeah,
good
that happened to
point.
me.
Oh,
That's actually happened to me 3 times. I've had someone throw up in my vehicle.
Oh,
it's awful.
One of the times I made them clean it up, but then it's like now you're trying to get a drunk person who just threw up in your car to clean up their own vomit out of your car,
They're
which is
puking
not
more.
they're not gonna
which
work.
is not fun.
Yeah.
The vomit is so gross it makes them puke more.
I mean, I guess it's a good way to keep them awake so they don't pass out from alcohol poisoning. So one of the times I go pick them up, and we're driving back on base, and it's myself and like 4 other people are
Right.
in my buddy's truck, and I'm driving them back. We get all the way back on base. We're driving back to where the barracks are, and I realize that there's a cop that is following me, and because it's like
All
Friday
right.
night, so the cops are just pulling everybody over.
Checking for
It's Friday
DUIs.
night. Everybody probably just got paid recently. Got to make that quota for tickets. They're trying to get as many people drunk driving as humanly possible. And if they can't get you drunk driving, they'll find something else to get you for.
Oh,
So he's been following me for a while at this point. And I'm like, I have done literally nothing wrong right now. I have done nothing wrong.
he's
But
just
you're in a military
fishing?
vehicle, and he assumes that you're out.
I'm in a vehicle that is owned by a soldier. So I'm driving back, and I'm like, oh, crap, there's a cop following me. One of the guys in the car is just like, yo, fuck him. I fucking hate cops. Fuck him. It's like, dude, shut up.
Roll down the
Not
window and
now.
puke at him.
No, I'm gonna fucking pee on him. And I think what he actually said was like, I don't give a shit. You gotta get back. I gotta piss. And it's just like, I know you have to piss, man. Whatever. I
Not
make
the
it
time
back.
you're not
I
thinking
pull
straight.
into the parking lot at the barracks, and then the cop stops his car directly in front of the truck. I'm parked now. I'm parked. I've taken the keys out of the ignition. I'm getting out of the vehicle. He pulls up in front of where the car is parked so that I can't leave.
So
Turns on
blocks
his
you in?
flashing lights and is like, get back in the car. Get back in the car.
All right.
And at this point, we're all out of the vehicle.
So you're getting back in the vehicle.
Well, we're trying to get back. I'm getting back in the vehicle. The one guy, let's just say, John. John is just going, no, fuck you. I gotta piss. I gotta fucking piss. Fuck you. The cop's like, get back in the fucking vehicle. No, fuck you. I gotta piss.
Pretend it's a construction site. Open the passenger side door and pee. Discreetly.
I don't know how we convinced him to get back in the vehicle. The cop comes up. He's like, you been drinking tonight? No, I'm the designated driver. And John, meanwhile, is in the back seat. Tell him to fuck off. I gotta piss.
Maybe he really has
to.
to.
Piss. Well, you know
Maybe he has to,
He
yeah.
didn't pull me over. I was parked. He's like, don't smart mouth me, son. I don't think I'm being smart, but okay.
Sure.
I don't have to piss, so I don't care if I smart mouth him.
Someone else is gonna piss and someone else is gonna.
Tell him to fuck off. I gotta piss. I gotta fucking piss. I'm gonna fucking pee back here. And the other two guys in the back seat are like, dude, don't fucking piss in the truck.
Don't piss in my car, bro.
They're just like, they're like in the back seat. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
6 years old, just beating the shit out of each other.
Herding cats.
The cop is like, do you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, no.
Do tell.
You were swerving a lot back there.
I'm just a bad driver.
And I'm like, look at what's going on in the back seat and to ask me why I was swerving a lot back there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a field sobriety test. Cool, man. Do a field sobriety test. Can they go piss? So, like, he let them go. He does a field sobriety test, man. He's like, all right, I'm gonna let you off with a warning this time. And I'm like, all right, cool, man.
For what?
Yeah.
I literally was doing absolutely nothing wrong.
You
but
were swerving.
I was swerving.
He was just
Cool,
saving face.
Great. Yeah, I was swerving because I have basically the equivalent of
3 frat brothers.
I had 3 20-year-old men with the mental age of 6.
Collective
in the
age
back
of
the
10.
vehicle, all beating the shit out of each other.
Like I said, frat brothers.
And saying, I want to go to Taco Bell. No, I want to go home and piss. And just like the entire fucking time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Is that the most obnoxious interaction you've had with a cop?
No, do you want to hear about the most obnoxious interaction I've ever had with a cop?
Sure, most of my experiences haven't
I'm ready
been
to
that
listen.
bad.
I might need a thing that I can draw a diagram on. This one involves diagrams.
Ooh.
I could, here, I'll open MS Paint.
Okay.
And draw it.
For start.
Okay, so your keyboard, because you have a different keyboard than mine, I have a button on my keyboard that when I press it, it just opens the search button.
Oh, I thought you said I thought you were gonna say you had a button on your keyboard that opens MS Paint. Like,
No,
Why
but
would you?
But I do have Paint 3D pinned to my taskbar, which is stupid. Okay, I'm gonna go on a slight tangent about this. I am so
Good
fucking
Lord.
mad at you, Microsoft and Windows, because
That's
you
fair.
made Paint 3D, which was a superior version of MS Paint. You made Paint 3D and then went, oh no, this shit's too good, and you discontinued all support to it.
damn.
Oh god.
Didn't
Not
know
only
that.
discontinued,
They
you
do
can't
some
fucking
stupid
download
shit
it
like that.
anymore.
Really?
Yeah, it's just gone. So it's still on my computer, but the moment it gets like uninstalled because I know you're gonna make a fucking update to get rid of it. Fuck you, Microsoft. Paint 3D is amazing.
I stand with that
GIMP?
statement.
I'll try using GIMP.
Just an FYI, Microsoft does have a lot of like shitty business practices. This is a tangent of my own. I am now currently using a licensed version of Windows 11, which costs an arm and a leg because of all the sanctions and transactions and all that. And of course, binding the account had its own problem, but it worked, alright? Worked in quotations. I also had my own Minecraft account on it. Because of all the server restrictions and all that, you can't usually connect to any of the Western side servers. Ping is too high, connection is unstable, and of course a lot of things are restricted by my own country. But oh no, Microsoft had to one-up the Islamic Republic of Iran, which is a standard, which is a big stand they are taking, alright? Microsoft uses its kernel level access to check your geolocation before any of the VPNs actively start masking your IP. Meaning Microsoft knows where you are located even after using a VPN. And because of that fact, and of course the fact that about a year and a half ago, they stopped all services to the geo IP of Iran, meaning my account could not be accessed. An account that I only was using it to play on offline mode because I couldn't even connect to any of these servers. But now it doesn't even allow me to log on my account to even play on single player. So yeah, I stand by that statement. Fuck you, Microsoft. I paid premium amounts of money for an account that you stopped my access to an application that I was using it offline. How lovely is that? I won't even talk about the multiple worlds I had on that single player. Some were modded playthroughs, some were servers I had for years, offline servers, you get it. but it was just such a big dick move. Tangent over, let's keep going.
I've never fucking used it before.
Okay.
Okay.
File
Gimp.
new. There you go. That's a canvas size. Good.
Great.
All right, there you go.
Perfect. All right. I should just fucking use paint. This was a mistake.
Here,
The one
let me
you
see.
are familiar with
There's no
usually
mistake.
works
We're
better.
gonna use paint.
All right.
We're just gonna use paint.
I can't learn anything new right now.
No,
I have a story to tell.
There we go. This is all right. This is what I'm familiar with. Perfect. All right. So,
Understandable,
damn, okay, did they
man.
upgrade paint? Oh my God! There's layers in paint now. Oh, fuck. Okay, maybe I do need to actually start using paint. God damn it! All right, Microsoft. I'm sorry. I was unfamiliar with your game.
You know what's?
Oh,
had
I'm
layers
familiar
for
with
over a
their games, and
decade
I'm
or
still
No, it has
by
not.
that.
Gimp.
No, Paint has not had layers for over
No,
a
I'm
decade.
saying Gimp has.
Oh, okay. So while I was in college, there was here's the business building. Here is the
All right.
football field, and then there were a bunch
Of course there's one.
dorms,
Okay.
and
I
then
saw
this
it.
is like a huge parking lot.
Does it connect to that road then? All right.
Yes and no. So, you're gonna have to stick with me for this absolutely amazing diagram.
Yeah, you got me so far.
This is the most incredible
I'm with you.
diagram that has ever been created.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
That is an arrow.
Oh, I see. It's like a one-way arrow. All right.
Okay, so in order to get into the business building lot, you had to drive all the way up this road.
Mm-hmm.
You had to drive all the way around the football field
All right.
to a tiny driveway that went into the parking lot directly in front of the business building.
Okay.
The exit to the business building parking lot had a gate in front of it, and it was a one-way. You were not allowed to drive into the business building parking lot on this side.
Okay.
And it had
All
always been
right.
that way. It just meant that now you have to drive like 5 to 10 minutes out of your way to go all the way around all this shit to get
Yeah.
into the business building parking lot. And the dorms were right across the street. So someone had called and said, hey, can you come pick me up from the dorm room? I almost called them barracks, but like dorms A. Can you
Okay.
pick me up
Same
from dorms
thing.
A? I drive out there, and on this specific instance, I see that there is no more gate. More so, there is no
Oh,
more
the gate is
sign.
gone.
There have
Ooh.
been rumors going around for weeks now at this point. And the rumor going around was that they were going to be opening that up so that you didn't have to drive all the way around this thing.
And
That's
today
great.
It seemed like the rumor had come true.
Well, because the gate is gone, the sign is gone. And I think, oh, that's just open now. You can go through. They finally opened it.
Nice.
So I pull through into
I'm guessing this is where
the
it's
business
going to
building
go
parking lot.
wrong.
The moment I pull through there, a cop comes like squealing around the fucking corner, lights on, siren, everything, stops right behind my car, and gets out and like does, you know the episode of Aqua Teen Hunger? Doing
Not
the full
familiar.
Terminator sprint across the lawn? You know why I pulled you over? No, I genuinely have no idea why you pulled me over. You went the wrong way through a clearly posted one-way entrance. That was a flagrant disregard of posted signs.
Find me the
There is
sign.
no sign.
Yeah.
They're like, no, there is a sign. There's a sign over there. You can't go that way through the lot. What sign? There isn't a sign. Pulls open my car door. Get out of the car. Pushes me over to the side of the road.
What?
The sign that was there is now laying down on the ground.
Come on.
What's that
You
thing?
just didn't see
Well,
it?
that's a sign for the parking lot. How was I supposed to see that in my car? Well, it's clearly posted.
Clearly.
No, it
Clearly.
isn't. Well, that sign was there yesterday. So I get into a not argument with this police officer. The entire time, my friend is just watching from like the parking lot, like, oh no, oh my god.
I just want to go get strawberry daiquiris.
Eventually, they write me a ticket. They write me a $300 ticket
Damn.
for like a moving violation and ignoring posted traffic signals.
Yeah.
Like, I should have fought it. I should have went to court and be like, no, this is bullshit. They took
Yeah.
the fucking sign down.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
could, like,
yeah,
had a
you could.
legitimate case to fight it, but you were probably young and dumb and
Well, also, I was partially worried that I was going to show up in court and then just, like, absolutely lose my shit and look like an unhinged combat veteran.
PTSD ridden,
so
dude.
fucking mad. I still get mad thinking about that.
no, it's an absolutely
Honestly fair.
frustrating story
Yeah.
to listen to.
I did have, like, a couple weeks later, I had a really good interaction with a police officer where I got pulled over. He was like, "Oh yeah, I pulled you over because like your mirror is smashed and one of your headlights is out." And I knew my mirror was smashed. Somebody had been drunk in my apartment parking lot and had just gone around breaking all of the mirrors on cars. They basically just walk up to a car mirror and then lean on it with their entire body so that it just like snapped. So yeah, my mirror was broken. I hadn't been able to get it fixed yet. And also my headlight was out. So he was like, "Oh, I thought you like hit a deer or something."
No.
So that's why I pulled you over. And like,
just checking,
came up to the car, and I said, "I have a like, here's my license. I have a concealed pistol license. I have a gun. It is in a bag in the passenger seat next to me." And the cop looked at me and goes, "Well, that's fucking stupid. How are you supposed to get to it if you need it?" And I was like, "You're really cool. I like you."
Good points, honestly. Good points.
Experiences were like that.
Yeah, you know, that was actually good. Being an administrator of public safety as opposed to how much money can I weasel out of this fucker?
Yeah. We've all got stories of speed trap cops, or they pulled you over and gave you a ticket because you had fuzzy dice hanging from your mirror.
Honestly, not my area of expertise. I just told you. Traffic cops do all of that shit. And yes, I think they also have the ticket handbook that they need to fill, but I'm not very familiar with how they work. But every government, every country has its good cops and bad cops, of course. Judge every single one case by case. If they did their job good, then that's them doing a good job. And if they don't, they should be court-martialed with the same military rules that they had been brought up with. Let's keep going.
I know what one you're talking about in that instance because that happened to our buddy Dave.
Yeah.
And that happened because they were light-up fuzzy dice.
They were blue.
What, really?
Oh, they were blue.
They were blue.
I thought they were red.
No, they were blue, so he was impersonating
Over fuzzing.
Oh,
blue
okay.
lights.
Yeah, he had blue lights on his dashboard, which, like, there's a big difference between the dim blue lights of light-up fuzzy dice
Yeah.
and the blindingly seizure-inducing lights of a
Yeah.
police car.
I don't remember them being that bad 30 years ago, but yeah, they
Dude,
are.
they're so bad now.
They are so bright.
I know this is just old men complain about how bright lights are now, but like, good God,
They're legitimately bright. You can see them from 3 miles away.
they're way too bright, and the rate at which they flash, how are they not giving people epileptic seizures?
I know.
It is.
There's a chance that they
absolutely
might be,
insane.
actually.
But yeah, more interactions like that one that you
Yeah,
had.
more interactions like that.
I've never
would be
had the
nice. Or
chance
the
to
other-
see
oh,
yours,
you wanna
but
hear about
ours
another
is pretty
infuriating interaction?
blinding
I
too.
didn't realize that this was going to be Zach bitches about cops for 30 minutes.
Fuck the police. Tell me the story.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
fuck the
when I
police. Let's
tossed
keep
Mullins
going.
Compared to the military, I bought a car. It was a stupid purchase. I shouldn't have fucking bought it. I ended up paying entirely too much money for it. My monthly payments were way too.
That's
fucking
supposed to
high.
be your first
I
car,
shouldn't have
yeah.
got it.
All the
When I moved
hallmarks of
back
it.
home, I went to get it insured. It's a car I'm making payments on, so I have to have full coverage insurance on it. Full coverage
Fine,
insurance when I
alright.
lived in Virginia was like $100 a month.
All right.
When I went to get it insured back home, the cheapest rate that I was able to find was $350
Oh,
a month.
God.
Yikes.
My car payment was
Capitalism
$300.
at its
Yeah,
best.
you're paying almost as much in insurance.
So when I called, and it was the same insurance company, I called them and I was like, "Yeah, I need to get it updated for where I live now." They told me how much it was. I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is a joke, right? It's
Yeah.
not actually that much money."
I'd
Three
like
and
to
a
not
half
update it, actually.
times?
I'm still
That's-
living down there.
That's
That's-
too much.
That's $50 more than I'm paying for the car.
Blah.
That's what the rate is. That's just what the rate is. I was like, "Well, fuck that. I'll just get a different insurance company then." And the woman laughed and went, "Good luck," and then hung up.
Huh.
I was like,
She
"Oh,
was that
didn't
sure, huh?"
bode well."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I called multiple other insurance companies. The highest quote I got was $1,300.
Oh
a month.
my.
Jeez.
What are you
Why?
insuring?
Why is
A
it that
Bugatti?
high? There's no reason for it to be that high. So I just left the car registered in the state
Might
of
as well be
Virginia.
insuring
there
a
you go.
M1
And then
Abrams.
when the license plate expired, I just never got it renewed.
All right. Did you have to update tags on it?
I was supposed to. I didn't. I drove it around. I drove that car around for 6 months with an expired license plate. It was
Huh.
not registered anywhere. It still had insurance on it. It just wasn't registered. And then one day I got pulled over. He comes up and he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably because my plates are expired." "Yeah, they've been expired a long time."
You didn't even feign ignorance? No, I don't know why you pulled me over. No.
I probably should have, but it's very clearly obvious why he pulled me over. I actually, no, I had an out-of-state... Did I have an out-of-state driver's license? No, this was... Oh, my God. Okay, my brain absolutely broke there. I'm sorry. This was an unrelated incident. The incident where I got pulled over
All
for having
right.
expired plates, That one was whatever. I admitted that I had expired plates. I got a ticket. I had to pay the ticket.
Okay.
That was a normal interaction with a police officer. He was not a terrible police officer. It's whatever. I was in the wrong there.
You were conflating two stories.
I was confusing two different stories.
What's the real one?
For quote unquote running a red light. But the thing is, there was a car ahead of me. There was a car behind me.
All right.
He pulled me over because I had an out-of-state license plate. And when he comes up to the car, he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" "No, I don't." "I pulled you over for running a red light. Why didn't you pull over the guy that was behind me? He ran the red light too."
You can't arrest everybody.
He says, "I'm confiscating your driver's license. You can either go to the courthouse and pay this ticket, and then you'll have your driver's license back in 2 to 3 weeks.
Ooh.
All right.
Or you can pay me $300 now."
Oh, he was asking for a bribe.
That's not supposed to
That sounds a
happen.
lot like a bribe. And he takes off his sunglasses and goes, "It's not a fucking bribe." I'm not really sure what I
Seems
should've done in
like
that
it.
situation. It doesn't matter. It's long past it now. I basically, because I got pulled over right near where my bank was, I walked over to my bank and got $300
Oh, jeez.
and then gave him the money. He gave me back my driver's license and then left.
Hooray.
Yeah, that was probably those two interactions are probably the two most infuriating interactions.
Honestly, just have to make a simple point. But yeah, honestly, if you caught anyone or any cop just like actually doing this stuff, just call up the number and report it. By law, no officer is allowed to hide his badge, his name tag, which we also had that, or his rank. So you could give them all the identity notifiers and they would act on it. So just saying, if you do catch up to this stuff, don't budge in. You're going to be promoting these nasty people to keep doing these nasty stuff. Let's keep going.
That I've ever had.
That's
with
incredibly frustrating.
police officers. The first one basically getting a $300 ticket for ignoring
A sign that was on the line.
ground that I
Yeah,
couldn't
on the
see,
ground.
and then also getting a $300 bribe for having an out-of-state license plate.
I imagine
For
it's
an
harder to
insurance
get
stuff?
bribes
Yeah.
out of people these days because no one carries cash.
It just hands you one of the fucking square readers.
Here, Venmo me.
Yeah, this is my Venmo. Come on, pay up. No, do it as friends and family. It's got to be friends and family. If you do it as the other one, I got to pay the 3% seller's fee.
It's taxes.
Driving around a vehicle that was unregistered, that was a thing that Steve Jobs would do all the time. Whenever he would always just get like new cars, and he would just never put license plates on them because one, if the car looks new enough, most people are just going to assume that they just got it.
That's a deal. They're driving around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got it, so they don't have the plate yet. But then also like
It's going to come
waste
soon.
my time going and getting a license plate.
Yeah.
But like, then fuck you, Steve Jobs. You're a fucking dipshit that thought that eating fruit would.
Honestly, one of the few people that would be able to pay all of this stuff, the insurance and all of it, that was the guy. Maybe he should have done it at least, you know? Eat the rich. That's what I'm standing for.
keep you from dying of pancreatic cancer, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to beat up a dead man, but if you have pancreatic cancer, maybe you should have fucking done something other than eat apples, idiot.
Doesn't
All
keep
of my
doctors
interactions
away.
with cops
Yeah.
has been genial at best. I'd say the weirdest interaction was the first time I got pulled over because I was a scared little white boy. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept on driving, but really, really slowly for about 5 minutes.
Oh, God.
Trying to look for a place to pull over, but it was a busy road. And
So
eventually
awkward.
I pulled over into somebody's driveway, and the cop, understandably frustrated and annoyed by me leading on this slow police chase for the last couple of minutes, is like, do you know anyone who lives here? Do you know this person's residence? No, I don't know.
Oh, God.
I couldn't find a place to park. He must have clocked me as being dumb little kid because he's like, get out of here, you stupid idiot. And I'm like, yes, sir.
I always get really confused when I see people that like get pulled over by cops and they pull over on like the left side of the road.
Yeah.
Or my personal
What?
favorite one
Why?
where it's like 2 lanes on one side, 2 lanes on the other side, and then a turn lane in the middle, and they pull over into the turn lane. It's just like, if you're getting pulled over, go into a parking lot.
Who knows? Maybe they had a bad interaction with the cop, so now they
Maybe.
just pull over immediately out of spite.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have to just tell this. When you're reading through our handbook for learning, like to get your driver's license and all that, a command from a traffic police overrides every sort of regulation that would precede it after. Meaning if there's traffic lights, if there's like signs, if there's any sort of marking on the ground, if all these are in like a intersection per se, and like a cop shows you like stop, you have to just stop at where you are. If he wants to pull you over, he would usually like direct you to the side of a road, but would be like calling you in its own speakers and all that. Pull over at like the right intersection or something. But yeah, if they do tell you to pull over, you just have to do it right then and there, because that's how it works. It goes first, any person of traffic police, then red lights or lights at all. Third goes the signs, and fourth the street markings, something like this. Let's keep going.
I guess maybe, you know, you pull over on a really busy road and you hope I hope they get out of the car and get hit by somebody. What do you think you do if that happens? Like, what if you get pulled over? If you get pulled over and the cop gets out of the car and then a truck just goes like burp, burp, like a Looney Tunes bit and just runs him over. What do you do? Do you just leave? Do I call the cops?
Officer, am I free to go?
I think you probably.
All right, we're dispatching car number 295 to come get you, and you look in your rearview window and it says 295. It's like, well,
he's here.
What do you do?
You call 911. Say
get 293.
You saw a cop get hit by a vehicle, and then you ask.
You tell them your name is John Smith.
You ask, do I stay here? And if they say no, you're free to go.
You just book it.
I don't know the dispatcher knows, though.
The dispatcher didn't know that you got pulled over.
That's fair.
Sure, yeah.
Usually I know sometimes they'll radio in the license plate they're pulling over. I got pulled over when I was younger for having a cover on my license plate.
A cover?
Yeah, there was like a
blacking it out or something
on the license plate, and like dark covers on my rear tail.
Those are illegal here.
And my headlights, I think.
Okay.
And they had been on the vehicle when I had gotten it. And I didn't particularly like them. I wanted to get rid of them, but my dad was like, "Oh, they're really cool. I think they look cool. You should keep them on there." So I kept them on there, and then I got pulled over for having obscured headlights, taillights, and license plate.
Oh.
Yeah, those are
got
illegal.
A ticket.
Did you bring it to your dad and make him pay it?
I don't remember if I made him pay it or not. I really don't remember. I think he did.
Well, it sounds to me like you were quite sheepish back then, and you just paid tickets that were given to you without fighting anything.
Out of all the tickets I've gotten, I don't think any of them have resulted in points on my license, though.
Points on your license are like points on your permanent record. It doesn't matter.
I don't know that for sure, though. I don't know that for sure. I feel like because that's literally what I was about to say. Is this just like it's a mark on your permanent record?
Yeah.
Ours is kind of different, but if you get 3 marks, you get confiscated, and you have to go through the exam, not the classes, but the exams required to get a driver's license, meaning you technically have to go through it again. But that is like 3 different times you had done something wrong, not an accident. An accident implies that no one was to blame, and it was, well, an accident. No one wanted to see something like this happen. But if it was because of a DUI or something, then it would definitely hold some points on your license plate. Let's keep going.
As long as you don't accumulate too many of them, it's not a problem.
I don't know.
It's like having lobsters in your house. 1 lobster in your house, that's fine. 15 lobsters in your house, now there's a problem.
Yeah, 15 lobsters in your house is
sure.
I think 1 lobster in your house is too many, but I don't like lobsters.
At least then you could just.
I don't like when I look at a lobster, seeing all those little arms on its bottom that go like. I don't like.
Too much looking like arthropods. Yeah.
I don't like sea bugs. I don't want to eat water cockroaches. Okay?
Crustaceans.
I don't want to. As it comes back around to the police, because do you know what a term for police was in 1800s London?
No.
Raw lobsters.
Raw lobsters.
Because they were blue. And like an uncooked lobster is blue.
An uncooked lobster is not bright blue. It's like a brownish kind of.
They can be blue.
I guess.
Yeah, they can be. There's blue lobsters.
There are blue lobsters, but they're a rare variant.
Oh, God, they're so gross looking.
Yeah, they are gross looking.
Maybe that's why they called police raw lobsters. Not because they were blue, but because they were gross and no one wanted to look at them.
Well, because like police blue is like a really dark navy.
No,
yeah.
They're called raw lobsters because they're gross and no one wants to look at them.
I don't know if that's strictly true.
Fuck the raw lobsters.
Ours were just cucumber green. so I'm not the one to speak. Oh, that was fun. Honestly, as always, make sure to check out their channel. I've already liked their video, share, subscribe, all of that. And if you like my commentary, maybe do the same for me. Thank you all for sticking till the end. I'm kind of changing my plans on how to make more videos now that I have some time off. So I won't promise more videos, but it's not going to be a weekly thing. I want to release the videos as soon as I am done with them, so I could go on keep making new ones sooner, and not just by relegating them to the weekend as it was until now. Usually I would have it up by Saturday or Sunday, but because in our side Friday and Thursday are technically our weekends, I would have the time to work on it and publish it later. So if you want me to see something, comment it down below. If you have commented before and I haven't gotten to it, do it again. I'm a stupid idiot. I promise I'll get to them soon. Again, I hope you all the best. Happy New Year. Hug your family, but cherish every single moment you actually can. Life is too short to hold grudges and too little time to show those that actually mean to us so much, how much they actually do. Our holidays is kind of strange because it's like a mixture of every other type of holiday, I want to say. First off, it is technically 14 days or 13 days if you want to say it correctly, but schools and offices usually close down even before you reach the first day of spring. Back in school, we used to like close down school 10 days early. Like no one would go to classes. We would boycott it just for those 10 days. So we would be going to school at the 20th and not go back to school unless it was like the 14th of the next month. Usually only government offices were open for business, like some places like banks, insurances, you get this stuff. But even they would be working on like half personnel, so others would go maybe take a trip, take a travel, see the families, because those are very big and important parts in our culture at least. The last day of our holiday is the day of nature. Also, we do pull pranks on other people, so it's kind of like April Fools, I guess. We call it the lie of the 13th because it's on the 13th day and all that. It is a time to invite other families in or visit them, so it's kind of like Thanksgiving. We also exchange gifts and money, so it does feel like Christmas. It is also New Year as our calendar resets. On our calendar, we are currently in the year 1404, and today is the first day as this recording is happening. That's all the pep talk you're gonna get about the holidays from me. Hope you all have a very good few days at least. I'm gonna go drink my saffron infused tea with some pistachio sprinkled confectionery. Again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!